This is Story Recapped. Today I'm going to show an action, adventure, comedy, drama, fantasy, horror, science fiction, and thriller film called Colossal. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. One night in Seoul, a little girl strolls the park with her mother to find her missing doll. After finding the doll, a bolt of lightning strikes and a giant monster emerges out of thin air. It walks through the city, and its existence is still a mystery. 25 years later, an unemployed writer, Gloria, comes home hungover early in the morning. She explains and makes excuses to her boyfriend, Tim, who has had enough of her alcoholism. He gives her a sermon about getting her life together and looking for a job, but Gloria keeps justifying her situation. Tim reaches his final straw and informs Gloria that he has packed her things while kicking her out. After Tim leaves, some of Gloria's friends come into the apartment to party while Gloria sits in disbelief. The following day, Gloria leaves the city to move back to her parents' old house. The home is old and empty, and a lot of repairs need to be done. As she walks home carrying an inflatable mattress, Oscar, her old friend, spots her from the street. Gloria claims that she's on vacation away from the city, and Oscar invites her to the bar he inherited from his father. Gloria meets Garth and Joel, Oscar's friends, who are at the bar almost every night. Later that night, Oscar brings them to the secluded part of the bar, which Gloria remembers from years ago. Joel and Gloria engage in conversation, and she tells him that he's attractive. At one point, Joel tries to kiss Gloria, but she pulls away, and Oscar yells at him. Gloria walks home while carrying the inflatable mattress and passes through the park for a shortcut. She prepares the inflatable mattress, but before she can even set it up, she falls asleep. Shortly after, she receives a call from her sister saying that she should watch the news. To her surprise, Gloria sees an article about Seoul being under attack by a monster that causes destruction and casualties. Gloria immediately calls Tim out of shock about the situation, but he still refuses to talk to her. People at the bar also tune into the news, still in disbelief that something so surreal could happen. Hundreds of specialists converge in Seoul to study the phenomenon, but the monster randomly fades into thin air. Gloria can't help but think about the monster attack, and she falls asleep in the park in the process. She walks home at dawn and finally inflates the mattress, a task she has delayed for so long. The doorbell wakes her up, and Oscar is at the porch to give Gloria a TV for her living room. Gloria sees it as a surprise, but according to Oscar, she asked for one the night before. Her forgetfulness becomes more apparent as she forgets that Oscar employed her to work at the bar. Gloria watches the news and learns that the monster has resurfaced in Seoul and is making weird gestures. Gloria notices the creature rubbing its head, which she recognizes as a tick in which she scratches her head. Moreover, she observes that it appears to be carrying something on its back, just as she did with her air mattress. Working for Oscar at the bar aggravates Gloria's alcoholism and bad memory. She overthinks the situation about the monster and feels a deeper connection to it. Gloria passes through the park around the same time the monster is said to have begun attacking. She extends one arm and then both arms into the air to test a theory. When she subsequently sees the news, she notices that the creature has imitated her precise moves. Gloria sinks into the bed after her discovery and falls asleep as her mattress deflates. Gloria can't hold her secret any longer, so she brings Garth, Joel, and Oscar to the park at 8 in the morning, when the monster usually appears. The guys go to streaming sites and watch as the monster emerges from bolts of lightning in Seoul. Gloria then begins to dance, and the monster soon follows suit. The guys eventually notice and realize what's going on. Joel believes that it's a joke or an application, but the monster continues to do what Gloria does. They warn her that helicopters are firing missiles at the creature, which physically impacts Gloria. She makes punching motions, which causes the monster to punch the helicopter, forcing it to fall on into its head. Gloria then trips and collapses to the ground as a result of her drunkenness. That afternoon, Gloria wakes up to the news of the monster's fall. It caused destruction, and hundreds of people died because of the collapse. Gloria becomes guilt-ridden and devastated because of the news. She becomes more distraught, but Oscar attempts to comfort her, but to no avail. As she leaves, he shows her a newspaper and reads an article where a giant robot appears beside the monster. As surreal as it seems, Oscar thinks that he is the robot. While Gloria is still disturbed by having killed people inadvertently, Oscar is unconcerned about becoming a robot. She becomes more paranoid and annoyed at Oscar for being too passive about everything. They both recall the first time they stood at that park as they theorize how the ground has something to do with the creatures. Back then, instead of the park, it used to be a construction site. However, Gloria thinks she stood at that fenced-off area 25 years ago, when the monster emerged for the very first time. Later, they visit a mini-mart to find a Korean man who translates a message for them. Oscar brings the piece of paper to Gloria and she writes it in the park. As she begins to write a message on the ground, she signals the people of Seoul to back away from the monster. The message says, "I'm sorry. It was a mistake. It won't happen again." The opinion on the monster changes, making the people believe that it's sincere and means well. That night, Gloria pays Joel a visit to his place where they share an intimate moment and spend the night together. She wakes up to the news of the robot taunting the city, so she rushes to the park. There, she finds Oscar and Garth messing around while they drink, and she reprimands them. Gloria slaps Oscar as both the monster and the robot, giving the impression that the creatures are fighting. Oscar simply leaves after what happened before telling Gloria that she needs to clock into work early. To the delight of the Seoul residents, the monster seems to have convinced the robot to leave. Gloria begins to improve her situation by reducing her alcohol consumption. On the other hand, Oscar becomes more aggressive and antagonistic as he drinks. He offers Gloria a beer, but she refuses until he threatens to go to the park. She takes the beer from the table and pours it in front of him. Oscar then walks away, drunk, and Gloria chases him, desperate to stop him from harming anyone. At 8 a.m., Gloria catches up on Oscar at the park, and they both fight. Joel monitors the whole situation in Seoul through a live stream as the fight ensues between them. They both fall to the ground, but Joel shouts that it's over. Shortly after, Oscar becomes more aggressive and threatens Gloria if she stops working at the bar before pushing her down. The following day, Joel visits Gloria with a lot of furniture at the back of his van that Oscar sent as an apology. Gloria finds his behavior unacceptable, so she goes to Oscar's house to confront him. Their friendship begins to crumble, but Oscar tries to save it by repeatedly apologizing. She forgives him, but makes him promise not to drink after the bar closes to prevent his drunken behavior. At midday, she receives a call from Tim, who informs her that he's at a hotel in her hometown. Gloria immediately stops by, and as soon as she arrives, they start to argue. Tim belittles her job as a waitress, but Gloria says that he's just jealous of Oscar. He continues to underestimate her, but Gloria has no energy to talk back. They soon head to the bar, where Oscar is already drunk and misbehaving with the patrons. On the other hand, Tim does not find the bar pleasant, but he continues to have small talk with Oscar. The situation becomes awkward as the three of them sit and talk together while Oscar's rudeness becomes more apparent. He displays a large firework that he and his pals had purchased a long time ago and saved for a special occasion. As Oscar lights it, the other patrons leave, throwing fireworks everywhere and trashing the place. Tim and Gloria are about to leave, but Oscar blackmails her if she leaves. Her ex-boyfriend tries to talk sense to her, but to no avail, so he leaves. While talking to Oscar, Gloria suddenly gets a flashback when she constructed a paper sculpture of Seoul as a school project. Oscar retrieves it after it's blown over the construction site, but crushes it because it's better than his. Gloria witnesses Oscar's act of jealousy and she gets into a state of rage. Then, in the air, lightning flashes, striking both children in the head, which explains Gloria's head-scratching mannerism. Toys that mimic the monster and the robot spill from their backpacks as if it represents their childhood rivalry. Gloria tells Oscar that she believes his behavior stems from his disdain for himself. They begin fighting and trashing furniture until she overpowers him before he leaves. Oscar rushes to the park, and both of them face each other to fight. She tries to stop him, which results in a new monster-robot battle in Seoul. Oscar, on the other hand, attacks Gloria, eventually knocking her out. He informs her that if she doesn't leave, he'll continue to terrorize the city. People in Seoul are shouting in despair as the robot of Oscar stomps around the park while Gloria lies motionless on the ground. Gloria then comes up with a plan to put a stop to Oscar's evilness. As the city is being evacuated, she boards a jet to Seoul as soon as possible. Tim calls her and asks if she wants to come back with him, but Gloria declines his offer and hangs up. All the while, Oscar is intoxicated and walks into the park, causing the robot to appear over Seoul. Gloria sees the robot in person for the very first time and sees how much chaos it causes. While citizens run away from it, Gloria walks toward it. Oscar hears stomping noises as the ground shakes in the park, which confuses him. Gloria's footsteps in Seoul cause the tremor in her hometown, and shortly after, the monster appears before Oscar. Out of fear, he flees, which manifests as the robot running over the ocean. Gloria advances and grabs the air, causing the monster to seize Oscar. This gives the impression that an invisible force holds the robot. Oscar breaks into tears and begs the monster to put him down, but Gloria decides to get rid of him. She hurls the robot into the air, and the monster does the same to Oscar as the people of Seoul cheer. After the commotion, she walks away as the chaos subsides. At the bar, Joel watches a live broadcast and spots Gloria behind the anchorwoman reporting live. She walks into the local restaurant while letting all the emotions sink in. The waitress behind the counter offers her something to eat, and she accepts. In return, she offers to tell her a story, and the waitress smiles in agreement. Before Gloria could start with her story, the waitress asks if she'd like something to drink. Gloria does nothing but sigh, aware that her alcoholism is not gone.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.